Governor Cuomo called me the next day at 8 p.m. while I was about to bathe my kids. I was with my wife, and for 10 minutes, he berated me. He yelled at me. He told me that my career will be over. He's been biting his tongue for months against me, and I had tonight, not tomorrow, tonight, to issue a new statement, essentially asking me to lie, and asking me I heard and I saw a crime the other day. And he's asking me that I did not see that crime. And that was the line that a line that he crossed that can't be undone. And that's why I had no choice but to come out and speak up.
Justice system and media are now political tools. Unfortunately, it is becoming clearer and clearer that both the justice system and the media are used more as political tools, both in the United States of America and in Israel. As you know, social media censorship is growing. The best way to support our work is to subscribe to our video newsletters on pulseofisrael.com and to share our videos. If you are already a subscriber, then thank you. Let's start with the United States. You just heard in the video clip Ron Kim, a New York Assembly member, a Democrat, admitting that Governor Andrew Cuomo demanded that he lie about the recent COVID-19 nursing home cover-up, which exposed that Governor Cuomo hid data from the federal government about the number of nursing home residents who died from COVID-19. Now, Melissa DeRosa, Governor Andrew Cuomo's top aide, privately apologized on a call to Democratic lawmakers for withholding New York State's nursing home COVID-19 death toll, telling them we froze out of fear that the true numbers would be used against us by federal prosecutors. Those were her words. Basically, Governor Cuomo and his administration are personally responsible for the death of over 10,000 nursing home residents in New York State, and they covered it up from the Trump administration. While Cuomo was blaming Trump for the deaths in New York, it was actually Cuomo who was personally responsible for many of the deaths. And to this day, Andrew Cuomo still has not apologized to any of the families whose loved ones died because of his decisions. Now, you know it's a bad situation for Governor Cuomo when even Democratic lawmakers have started throwing him under the bus. New York State Senator Jessica Ramos tweeted, "People died and Cuomo lied. Then he had the gall to write a book." Even the progressive Democrat, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, got involved in trashing Governor Cuomo. But then something interesting happened. All of a sudden, the media headlines about Governor Cuomo changed. No longer were they reporting about his responsibility for the deaths of all those nursing home residents and his responsibility for the horrific cover-up. All of a sudden, all the headlines were about women coming forward with complaints about Governor Cuomo sexually abusing them. One accuser after another started being reported upon by the media. I think the media has now reported 7 different sexual abuse accusers. Now, none of this is new. All these incidents happened to them in the past. So the question is, why now are they all coming forward? Well, forgive me for believing the famous saying that power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Just follow me for a second. The nursing home scandal is not just a stain on Governor Cuomo, but a stain on the whole Democratic Party. The Democratic Party looked at Governor Cuomo and New York State as one of their best examples of leadership in dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. So Cuomo was celebrated, even with writing a book about leadership on dealing with COVID-19. So this cover-up, with Cuomo personally responsible for the death of over 10,000 New York City nursing home residents, is a huge stain on the whole Democratic Party. On the other hand, the sexual abuse scandal is just a stain on Andrew Cuomo himself, not the whole party. So one explanation is that certain powerful interests want to cover up Cuomo's nursing home scandal. What better way to bury this scandal than by focusing on a sexual assault scandal instead? Cuomo's already toast, so no need to save him, but at least they can save the Democratic Party. Now let's move over to Israel. A little over a year ago, Israel experienced 3 elections within 1 year as the anti-Bibi Netanyahu forces in Israel tried time after time to push their most realistic option, blue and white leader Benny Gantz, to replace Netanyahu. They failed each and every time. Following the 3rd and final election, Gantz and Netanyahu finally joined forces to save the country from a 4th election. The anti-Netanyahu forces were not happy. Now, during those 3 elections, there was a grassroots campaign to open up an investigation into Benny Gantz and his former high-tech company called the Fifth Dimension, because they had received government financing against the rules and regulations. However, the media suppressed the story, and the justice system did not open an investigation into Benny Gantz or his company until after the 3rd elections and Benny Gantz joined the Netanyahu government. Then finally, Israel's prosecutor's office opened up a criminal investigation to only be closed shortly afterwards. Okay? They really didn't investigate. Until now. Once again, the investigation has been reopened. So the question is, why now reopen it? Well, now, in a week and a half, Israelis are going to the polls again for the 4th time in 2 years. Whereas in the last 3 elections, the media and the justice system were looking at Gantz as their knight in shining armor to dethrone Netanyahu, this time in the 4th election, not only do they not see Benny Gantz as a realistic option to replace Netanyahu, he has no chance in any time, but now his running in the upcoming 4th election might harm their chances to replace Netanyahu. So they are reopening the investigation against him to try to force him to pull his party out of the race because he is a hindrance to replacing Netanyahu. Now, this is just one case of many, or 2, where we see the justice system and media establishment, both in the USA and Israel, being used as political tools instead of actually looking out for justice and standing up for the citizens against big government and powerful political bodies and politicians. So, when will we see a change? Well, simply when more people are aware of the problems and vocal about the problems. Then and only then will the people demand the changes to the justice systems and to the media. That's where we play a role. And we thank you for appreciating our voice here at the Pulse of Israel to be part of this necessary change for all of us.
Pulse of Israel, frontline videos from the Holy Land. Support our work by donating today.